the horseplayernow.com Arlington Park tag team of Joe Christopher and Brian W. Spencer. And Spence, we can take a little bit of a deep breath now. The Arlington season has peaked, but there are still several good weeks of racing left, some solid stakes races yet to be run and on the horizon. But this week, it's all about Saratoga, all about the Travers, and we're going to talk about that race in just a moment or two. But how was your Million weekend, buddy?
It could have been better, and it could have been worse. I'll tell you that. Missed some horses that I kind of liked on paper and changed my mind on. But I really enjoyed being out there Saturday for the races. I thought we saw some really nice performances, and the Euros really proved their class in 3 of those 4 races.
Yeah, they certainly did. And little Mike went wire to wire in the Arlington Million. I was 4 for 4 in the pick 5 going into that race. Refused to use little Mike, and then I saw him opened up at 5-2 as the favorite on the board. And I know Dale Romans likes to bet, and I'm like, uh-oh, probably in a little bit of trouble. He was very impressive, and Jill Byrne's interview with Mike Ditka after the race was certainly priceless. It was nice to have the coach on hand.
Yeah, and the thing about little Mike is, he projected his lone speed on paper. There's a million reasons to play him, and I just thought he could get 10 furlongs. You saw that 115 put up on the board, and it was all over at that point.
Yeah, it certainly was. He kicked away very impressively. It'll be interesting to see what he does the rest of the year. Now, we're going to talk about the 7th race on grass at Arlington in just a moment or two. But Spence, as I alluded to earlier when I introduced you in this video, it is Travers Day at Saratoga. I will be there live with the America's Best Racing Horse Player Now team at the Fan Hub tent in the backyard. So if you're at Saratoga this weekend, taking a little family vacation or racing vacation, come and visit us. You can wager on Travers Day at Arlington Park and all trackside locations, as well as the Pacific Classic, a huge race coming up, and a big card on Sunday at Del Mar. Let's talk a little bit about the Travers, Spence. Not a lot of horses who performed in the Triple Crown races have continued on. We just saw this week Bodemeister and Hansen both retired. Sad news on that front. But the horse I loved in the Kentucky Derby, of course, is the best 3-year-old towards the end of the year, at least one of the best 3-year-olds, and that's Alpha. He's the 5-2 morning line favorite in the Travers, and he just won the Jim Dandy at Saratoga.
Isn't that the way it always works out?
For me, anyway.
He was impressive enough in the Jim Dandy. It was kind of one of those walk the dog kind of races. Not much change in the order of the running from the half-mile pole to the finish line, and a horse who really chased him around there, neck and neck. He really came to life in those Churchill races. I don't think he was disgraced when chasing Alpha in that last one, and I think that maybe he'll be in line for a bit more advantageous trip this time around, so no reason for me to jump off a horse like neck and neck at this point.
Well, the second choice in the race is Nonios, who I got to see live and in person at the Haskell when he ran a good second behind Painter, and I saw him school in the paddock the day before, Spence, and he was a little bit too feisty for his own good. You can tell that he was really energetic and probably not as professional as maybe he will be moving forward. I think this is a horse that still has some upside, and he did run a good second in the Haskell behind Painter, who was a highly impressive winner of that race. Johnny Velasquez, a local rider, taking the reins aboard Nonios for trainer Jerry Hollendorfer. And then a horse that we both think has a big chance at a price, the number 7 Adigan, who could have done you a lot of good had he won the Belmont. Didn't run as well in the Jim Dandy, but like you said, they really didn't change position in that race.
Yeah, and I'm really willing to kind of just draw a line through that Jim Dandy. In the Belmont, third behind Painter and Union Rags. Didn't really have the easiest trip. I think you could make some kind of case that he was best in the Belmont, but, that's just splitting hairs at this point. I think he's going to be in line for a better trip, maybe in a race here where there will be some change in positions. And when he's on his game, he's pretty good, and I don't think that there's anyone in here, maybe outside of Alpha, who's really that scary. So if Alpha doesn't run his very top stuff, then you've got Adigan, then you've got neck and neck, and even Nonius, as you mentioned, who I think are going to be right there to take it away if he doesn't fire his top stuff.
An interesting side note, Mike Smith lost the Kentucky Derby in the Preakness on a speed horse. He lost the Belmont on a different speed horse. Now he's been named on a closer in this year's edition of the Travers as he takes over the reins aboard the horse that we were just discussing in this field, and I do believe that maybe he's a good fit for Adigan in this race. Julian Leopard didn't ride him poorly, but maybe the jock switch will provide a spark. Let's talk quickly about the 7th race at Arlington, Spence. 1 mile. We're familiar with very many of these fillies and mares in this event. You've got Kepi, you've got Top Pair. They've been racing against each other. A couple of new and intriguing shooters here in Goldway and Moret. The last video we did where Moret was running, we talked about what a frustrating female she has been for Chris Block, but she won her last race with her A game, and maybe she's turned the corner at the age of 5.
Yeah, I mean, Moret, very maddening to follow over the last couple of years, and she couldn't have gone out and been any more impressive. Nice little slingshot closing move off the turn, and just blew it. I mean, she won by a half length, but she looked very impressive there. Kepi, you mentioned last time she was in a box. She made her own room. The stewards didn't let her get away with it. Was disqualified from that second place finish. Goldway red hot, looking for her 4th in a row. And then you've even got a horse like Roman Invader, who has really been more or less a model of consistency. She tossed a big clunker last time when behind Peyote Patty, who just came back to win a stakes race in her next start. So Roman Invader was 6-1 there. Maybe a better price here off that Doll effort, and I think that she's not without a fighting chance.
It's interesting that Kepi drew the rail here with a little bit of tactical speed. She may set the pocket, and trainer Brian Williamson has been very loyal to Constantino Roman, but notice that he puts top rider James Graham in the saddle, who has owned the Arlington turf course, and he's been red hot over the last few weeks, so that is an intriguing jockey change there. And then what about Goldway, Spence? This is a horse that has really come to life this meet, in particular since being united with jockey Rosemary Holmeister Jr., who's a perfect 3-for-3 aboard Goldway, 2 route victories on the grass, and then the Polytrack sprint win last out. She's got the speed to lead, but maybe she's learned how to relax a little bit too.
And especially before those 3 wins, she coughed up 2 really big leads in the stretch in her races prior to that. So that does give me a little cause for concern, because this is the toughest kind of spot that she's been in some time. So if she does dart open to that clear lead at the 8th pole, she's going to have some tougher customers coming after her in that final 1/8 of a mile. And you did mention one of the top riders here, Jimmy Graham. Another one is Cisco Torres. You'll note that he has no mounts at Arlington on Saturday. He's riding at Hoosier Park, where he has been named on the 2-1 morning line favorite, dreaming big in the Merrillville Stakes for the Michael Lauer barn. So pay no mind to the fact if Cisco's not on a horse that you like that he was on last time.
And do note that Cisco Torres has ridden a lot at Hoosier Park in the past, so he definitely knows his way around that racetrack. Don't forget, you can like us on Facebook at Arlington Park. Also follow our last minute interpretations, selections, and opinions on Twitter at Arlington Racing. For Brian W. Spencer, I'm Joe Christopher. Enjoy Travers weekend at Saratoga or at Arlington if you're local. Best of luck and enjoy.